Hey guys, welcome to our review of Ultraman Zett, episode 21. I'm your host, Cinder Blaze, and today we have...
The frozen Stratos.
Nightmare Soul.
Nice to see you back. Alright, now this is a good episode to be back on, because unlike last episode, I actually enjoyed this one a lot. Like, it was so weird that we're getting plot. Like, when the old... Like, I had like a feeling the old man was gonna be back and in full force, because they're just gonna be like introducing a stupid weapon for stupid reasons, or not stupid reasons, actually plausible reasons. And, they gave the entire storage unit like a conflict they can actually play around with, like all of them, not just like one little group. It's like a major thing that they all had to deal with for once. Oh man,
That's true. We haven't gotten. I don't want to say like teamwork because it didn't feel like Yuka did too much. She just sort of stood there and complained a lot, which rightfully so. But yeah, they were at least all gearing toward like one common goal, and it was a very interesting conflict, and they brought up something that I was really that had been in the back of my mind. It was like, Zet really just takes care of these problems. These guys don't do too much. I mean, King Joe has killed a few, but like not so many that Ultraman couldn't defeat. I think the only ones that like King Joe got on Zet were the parents.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I feel like King Joe was strong enough to handle most of the villains that we've seen
Mm-hmm.
so far. I think the only one that it probably had issue with was the one for the Ace crossover. Forgot the name exactly,
Mm-hmm.
but that one was a little bit like over even Zed, pay grade.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like a little bit weird for me because I felt like they had the tools to kind of like combat these kaiju, and if they really felt like they needed something, they had like the capable tools to kind of like make something stronger. I would assume. Like I kind of like trusted the engineering team and like
Mm-hmm.
to make something to adapt to that situation. Um,
But like this issue had only been brought up recently because of that Ace villain, and he did have issue with that guy. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So it was that escalation, and I'm I it's always a little bit contrived sometimes how shows will be like, hey, this is an awesome new weapon. We probably only need to use it for really tough situations. And then tough situation just occurs, like unannounced. But this time it was like, oh, they escalated power. It was sensed, and now something's coming for it. So I think it was warranted, and I really like that approach.
yeah. I mean, it was a little bit weird. Like the nature of the weapon itself, just being a like dimensional nuke, was just like I think like that's also an issue I had with like the episode where that that type of weapon just had no reason to be pushed that fast.
hmm
Like,
Yeah. I mean, you get the idea that maybe something shifty was going on um, with the higher ups to keep pushing it. But yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like it was a very well thought out weapon, given that it could destroy most of the city
hmm
um, if left unchecked. I mean, uh, I can't remember who said it, but we said it in the watch along that Zed was the only one to actually stop it.
Yeah.
yeah, like, yeah, they needed Zed to stop their own weapon that they needed to, not rely on Zed. Like,
Yeah.
it was a weapon that they had to rely on Zed to even use. Like, it just defeated the whole purpose of them introducing that weapon in the first
hmm
place.
Like what got me was that they were so proud of it anyway.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
reaction
like
afterwards, where
yeah.
they didn't feel bad at all. Like after like that
hmm
whole after the whole debacle of the episode, the short little commander goes on his little steps, and he's like, you know what? You guys are all fired for disobeying me. It's like you do realize that in obeying you, you almost nuked the city. Like you did nuke the city. You were just relying on Zed to somehow have the power set to negate whatever you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Short Commander Man was just Cerebro in disguise.
Same,
But
yeah. I forgot
yeah.
that was his name, by the way. Like, until you said it, I did not know that information.
They don't say it often because he's usually never there.
Yeah.
Yeah, one wouldn't expect to hear of our main villain,
Yeah.
especially at episode 21. I don't even think that he's like actually like mentioned by name in this episode of all things.
And I think, like, the small thing that I'm sure they wanted us to pick up on was, oh, hey, this dude has chest pains. Oh, now he is completely different without the chest pains. Something changed. So.
Yeah.
Well, and he was, smiling at the fact that the city was destroyed and his weapon didn't really succeed all too well.
But, like, we've been so far disconnected from that character that, like, yeah, I guess he could be that way. I don't know.
Yeah. And he always seemed like perpetually angry that he was just looking for an excuse to fire storage, like he's always, like he's always just like yelling at like Haruki for all the destruction that he's causing and stuff like that. He's always getting on his case. It's like he was like trying to set up them axing this unit in the first place, which doesn't make much sense because it's like, security against these giant ass monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like he kind of hated them from the get go. So maybe he wanted to put all like the anti kaiju funds like under him directly or something. Like maybe that could be a thing, but we have 4 episodes left, so I'm not sure if we're going to be dealing with a plot like that.
I never saw it as him hating Haruki, more of just like, oh great, now
I
have to do this paperwork and like sort of what is it? Put out the fire that Haruki started.
Yeah, I mean not like Haruki specifically, but just like using like Haruki to kind of like put the rest of storage down or something like that. That's what I kind of felt from him. Although this could just be like my recency bias, just seeing him being an absolute cunt in this episode.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I guess like it would make sense for him to be or influenced by Celebro or some sort of antagonist, or else this character is just like making less sense. Like, or maybe it's like Bako who's like, under possession of Celebro. That's why he just hated his daughter for no reason. Of all the things I cut from that episode, it was the connective tissue between him and like the main character of that episode.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. But aside from that, I felt like there wasn't like much to say. It was like a very like action-packed episode of him just kind of like killing like a hordes of monsters, which I thought was like, it was kind of terrifying. I think like we haven't seen like a scale or like a monster attack of that scale in this show at least, and them kind of like being low on resources and like actually struggling to contain everyone was kind of a sight to see. Like even Zett was just kind of like making those worried Ultraman noises. So yeah, overall pretty engaging episode. So should we move on to comments?
Let's do it.
Which one do you have up first?
Up first for me is Extra.
All right, and this is how I remembered Celebro's name. I took a sneak peek of the comments right before the review. So Extra says, so what I think must have happened this episode is that Cerebro took over the director's body. In the beginning of the episode, the director seemed somewhat sympathetic towards Storage and understood why they wouldn't want to use D4. But after he met that guy Cerebro possessed in the hall, he was so much more ruthless, and it seemed he wanted such a destructive weapon to be used. He also stopped doing that aching stomach gag he usually does, so it seems very likely that this is what happened.
Oh.
Yeah, so Extra is maybe a step ahead of you. I don't know the timing of it, but who cares?
Okay.
Alright, which one do you have next?
Next up is Heroic Gangster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this episode straight up gives me some standard kaiju conflict vibes. This really does feel like something I've seen in a Godzilla movie with the dramatic sequences that have happened. It was cool because of that, and I really hope you do Absolute Conspiracy, but it has to be dubbed because no, I'm not doing the dub because I already watched 5 seconds of it, and that is not Zero's voice, so we're not doing that. And for John Hendricks' comment, the ladies' glasses are weird as crap. I'm glad stuff is finally happening. I've been enjoying this show a lot, but only a few episodes left. We better get some plot. I'm still kind of doubtful. We already saw the preview for the next episode, and apparently Haruki's going on a date with Yoko, which is good progress on his part. But come on, for the show in general, what are we doing?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, we shake up the status quo and sort of, I guess, reinvigorate our characters into the finale. Maybe that's what it's serving to do. And on top of that, it's they're now sort of left to their own devices. They don't really have a team behind them, so that's a little bit more interesting. And they have to sort of take down the team that they were once a part of. Everything that we've been establishing throughout the show, everything in their arsenal that they've had, they might have to go up against it now.
Yeah. That would really suck because they're tiny people, and I'm pretty sure King Joe is really good at killing tiny people. So,
yeah,
if that does end up happening, that'll be quite the sight to see. If we get one of those shots like that one super flexing episode where the director had the 3 guys up in the front watching the entire kaiju battle, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
All right. Well, do you guys have any final thoughts before we just kind of hop out of here?
No, it's a good episode.
Yeah.
Good, solid stuff. All right, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check our description down below for all the goodies down there. Catch you later.
Keep it.
Bye.
Yeah, now we can turn off our brains and watch.
Why are you whispering?
Why am I whispering
the whole time?
Because people are sleeping, and I really don't want to be waking people up.
Interesting. Okay.
So I didn't think about it until you said something